Guys, and welcome back to the Retro Room. This is hopefully a quick and easy video regarding this now disassembled VIC 1541 floppy drive, which we can see here is the top cover of it. That burgundy label with the silver Commodore single floppy drive disc, VIC 1541. Come to find out, it was a power issue. To continue from our last video. Now, I looked at a few posts online about similar issues, about making a new power supply for this. And in that post, they removed all of the power supply components, which is all the capacitors and resistors and connectors that were all through here. That guy I couldn't quite get off, but he's not going to do any damage being there. And then to connect this wiring lead. These are where the voltage regulators connected to. I ran the 5 volt and the 12 volt, 5 volt being this red wire, 12 volt being this yellow wire, through these holes just for some strain relief. And each one goes through, looking at the board from this orientation, goes into the left side hole, or on the left side, soldered to the leads on the back. Looks pretty ugly back there. Then the ground is on the bottom of each one, which is why I have those soldered on just like that. This connection isn't going anywhere. Let's hook him up and take a look at what he does. Connecting all the drive, control components now. Making sure to keep the original orientation as much as I can remember. On these, all these little dashed holes go toward the inside of the board. This guy right here is kind of keyed. On this connector, there are wires leading to all of the holes in here except for this one, second in from that little red wire. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that empty hole goes where this pin is missing right here. Just like that. Put this off to the side, and I'm connecting this to my bench power supply here. Plug that in. Then, since it's getting power from this power supply, we will flip its switch, and you guys can see the drive lights here. What it should do is this light should come on, this green one, and this light should come on just for a second and then turn off after it finishes its tests. And here we go. Just like that. I'm going to move the camera so you guys can get a little better look of that. And we're back. And with the switch, one more time, the green light comes on, the red light comes on for a second, just goes right back out. That looks quite a bit better than we were getting before. Now, if I have all my stuff here, we will see if this works. This is a drive cable. We'll very carefully connect this to the back of. There we go. I don't think it matters which connector on the back there it needs to connect to. Oh my. For this test, we're going to use this Commodore 128 since my only Commodore 64, I think, has a bad CPU. But I have a fix coming for that. This is the AV cable. We're going to use this little screen right here. It goes in a slot labeled video there on the back. Where's the end of this cable? There it is. The drive cable will go in the other hole labeled serial. And this computer is going to need some power. There we go. And we'll have to get the screen turned on. Okay, the little screen is on. These cables are also under a bunch of stuff. I'll get this here so you guys can see it a little better. We'll turn on the Commodore 128. And there he is. Do I have a button stuck on here? Caps lock was on. There we go. We'll go into 64 mode. Run this guy like a Commodore 64. Then to test the drive, I'm going to use my go-to, one of my very few Commodore floppies. Make sure nothing is okay. Let's turn the floppy drive on. There we go. Then we'll type load star, comma 8, comma 1. And it is reading the disk. Or tried to read the disk. Move the screen out of the way and see what he's doing. The drive light is just flashing. Okay. move the drive head all the way forward, and we'll load that again and see what happens. File not found error. That disk might be having trouble. Well, give me just a moment. And I'm back. I have a cotton bud and a little bit of IPA. Put right on that bud like so. Reach in there and clean off the head. Because it might be a little dirty. There might be a little discoloration there. Give that a second to dry. We'll try that again. Device not printing well. Yeah, it's not turned on. Something doesn't seem right here. I have a very rough looking Okimate demo color screen print. We could give that a shot. Of course, I have no idea what condition this disc is in. Got some debris on it. I wonder if the 6502 are replaced on this drive. Might be having some compatibility issues. I don't know. This says load. If I can learn to type, load demo. Comma 8. I think I should double check a few things. All right. Wasn't able to find out much, except that all of my connections are on just like they're supposed to be. I put the original 6502 back in the drive. Oh, let's turn the drive back on. It still seems to be doing okay. Let's try to load this disk again. tries for a second. It says file not found. Well, just for giggles, let's make sure that it isn't the drive, and it might just be the disk. Over here, where you guys can't see it, is a 1571 drive that I know to be working. I'm just plugging in the power in the drive cable. Get the drive on. We'll try the same disk. He's just off camera here, right next to, right over there. We'll try the same thing. And he seems to be loading. Being pretty slow about it, but even the Commodore 128 in 64 mode loads pretty slow from disk drives. Well, without a fast loading cartridge or something to circumnavigate, or something to help with that well-known and documented bug. Well, oddly, that makes me feel a little better. As you can see on the screen, it had a file read error. Let's get this a little closer. I had to restart the Commodore 128. Tried to load the disk in 128 mode. File read error, and the drive has a rapidly blinking green light indicating an error, same as it did before. resetting the drive. Oh yes. Go into 64 mode. We'll try that again. It froze the last time. Put the combo 1 in there just for good measure. Drive says it's loading. It's making noise. Now it's stopped and I get a regular, not quite as fast, but still a blinking green light on the front of the drive. That disk may be bad. And the computer is frozen. This video is rapidly becoming a quest to just get something to work on a floppy drive on a Commodore. Any floppy drive, any disk. Have a Zaxxon disk. We'll see if we can get that to load. Computer communicates with the floppy drive before it gets ready. That's neat. Drive seems to be reading. It says it's loading. I'm going to get a little shaky. Get where you guys can see that drive. Get the screen in view of you guys too. It loaded that disk. Oh, look at that. Playing some sounds there. Zaxxon cartridge. This is not a cartridge, that's a disc. That's fantastic. Huh. Well, we're not going to play that right now. But it loaded that disk just fine. Well, let's move everything around. Get you guys where you can see the other disk drive right there. And we'll move its cable, move the cables around. Well, you get a bunch of meat in the shot. Then we'll need the serial cable. I'll try the other port this time. Not sure that makes a difference, but doesn't hurt to try. Pop him in there. Drive needs to be on. There we go. The drive responds to the computer coming on and off. And the drive initialized. A little slower than the 1571, but that's okay. All right. File not found. We still have a problem on this. Well, we'll turn the disk over just in case. 15, it shouldn't, but maybe it writes differently. Same behavior. Makes sense if there's nothing on that side of the disk, but seems like it's just simply not reading. But progress has been made. Oh, let's well, for the sake of conformity, we'll flip that around and we'll see if that does any difference. I changed the head connector around where it's facing the same direction as all the other connectors. Figure can't much hurt a broken drive any worse. Absolutely no change at all. Kind of tells me that head isn't working. That or there's something wrong with the board here itself. Set that disk aside. Just getting in there to take a look at the read head. not seeing anything terribly out of place, but of course that doesn't mean anything. Well, I'm once again at a loss. I'm going to have to look into this a bit better, but again, they can't all be wins. This drive is confounding me. I might put it aside for a while and look at something else. Well, thanks for joining me on this little misadventure, and hope to see you again.